Good morning. Good morning. It is Donna here from Blind Knitting and Blind Homesteading. And I thought today when I came home, I stayed at my sister's last night. We went out to a quiz night. It was great fun. I thought today when I would get home, I've got a cruisy day. And then I found this pile of washing on the chair in the lounge that wasn't folded. Another pile in our bedroom that was folded. And all this washing on the line, which Stuart has hung out, and a whole lot to do. And I started to feel a bit overwhelmed, and I thought, what am I going to do? And then I thought, actually there's a lot to learn about laundry and a lot to consider. And so today we're going to talk a lot about things around laundry. Now, my mother was a laundress for well over 30 years. She worked in the laundry, and my sister and I helped out for every school holidays and Christmas holidays. We would earn money and help, and I can iron a man's shirt in so quickly that I could do, well, being blind, but I could literally do it with my eyes closed, and change a duvet cover and all of those things that we used to do. And every school holidays all the blankets would get washed. They had woolen blankets, and so I learned a lot from my mother around how to do laundry, but then when I had my own children and my own family, I thought there's a lot I hadn't learned, that we just do naturally without sort of thinking about. And then also when I did my degree in psychology and we started talking about the psychology of anxiety and stress and things, there were so many things around laundry that I thought there's a lot to, because one of the first things that my colleague Francis and I ask when we're doing a workshop is, how do you hang your washing out? And I'll talk further about that and why later on in our show today, my program today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this washing hung out, I'm going to get this washing brought in, and then we're going to sit inside. I'm going to talk completely about laundry. So hold on to your seats. See you soon. Sunday morning routine. This is 122 and 532 waiting for their breakfast, and so I'm sure Stuart will go out and give them a carrot. They just stand there and I'll yell out to them. 122. 122 is one on the right. 122, hello. 1 and 532 is one on the left, and they're waiting for their breakfast. Won't be long. And they think, oh God, mean tart, I've just shut the door on them. Kenzie down here, she's been fed wherever she is. There she is. Good girl, Kenzie. She's been fed and watered, and she's happy as. And I have done the chooks, so I didn't show you those, I didn't take the camera out. But I have got in the pantry some hash browns for Mama Bear and Daddy Bear, Papa Bear. And what I do with hash browns is I use butter wrappings. I use these in my, and I put the hash browns on the butter paper so that I'm saving on my parchment paper, because parchment paper can get very expensive. So there's the hash browns in, oh, it's not on properly, in and on. And then over in the kitchen, we have, I have a bowl ready to make scrambled eggs. So with our eggs over here from our chockadoos, and some lovely raw milk from my dear friend. And here I have some macaroni cheese that I made some time ago, and so I'm heating that up because for the life of me I can't remember whether I've salted and peppered and flavoured it, because it was the last of my big bulk day meals and I was getting tired, and I want to give one of them away, so I want to tell them whether it's flavoured or not. So I'm going to heat that up, and that will be my lunches during the week. Over here I had leftover cream because I'm getting ready and prepared for my fresh lot of milk to be delivered. In here I have made some butter with the leftover cream, and what I thought I would do with that is put some garlic granules and some mixed herbs in it, and a little bit of salt, because that's not salted obviously, it's fresh butter. And then I can use it either in my scrambled eggs or buttering toasted sandwiches, which I think will be divine. And I do need to make some more freezer toasted sandwiches for my lunches, so that will be handy for that, or anything that you would just use a compound butter with, flavoured butter. These here are limes that a guy I know, it's actually my taxi driver, we were talking and I said, oh, we've got a lime tree but it's not doing very well, so he's given me some limes for us to use. Haven't worked out what I'm going to use them for yet, but I'm sure that I will put them to good use, even if it is to freeze them in slices or dehydrate them in slices and put them in drinks for summer. Over in the fridge I have all my jars all washed and clean, except for the one that I'm still using, ready for my milk to be delivered. And I have some veggies that my sister-in-law's been very successful at growing. Cabbage, there's a cabbage in there with the nola leaves, and some collie. And what I do is I prep my veggies and bag them, put a little handy towel in them so that they absorb some water, take the air out. These last for weeks. This is cabbage, and I've already got some, what have I got now? There's a little bit of broccoli that's really past it. The chooks can have that. But yeah, so I'm going to prep those and put those in bags for the week, so that when we want to do some cooking, we can just pull them out of the bag and they will be ready with no prep. It is a really muggy day today. It's supposed to rain. It's actually quite nice out there. I've opened the chook house all up, let some air in while it's fresh, and but it is supposed to rain this afternoon. It did rain last night. We need some rain, so that is all good as well. But that's the start of my day. Later on I'm hoping to do some more, I can't even remember what we started, but I'm hoping to finish whatever we started, and I'll go back and have a look, and then that'll be my video for today. Cheers, see you soon. Right, here we go. Today we're going to talk about laundry, and it's one of those subjects when people are going, oh, do I really want to talk about laundry? How boring. But there's some interesting things, and there's a lot to learn. You know, we like to look good. We like to wear things. Oh, I've got my old farm gear on, but we like to wear things that are clean and nice. And you know, people look at us and see stains and things. And being blind, I don't see things on here, so I do get told a few times, oh, you've got a stain on your top. So how do you manage that? And as I said, I've certainly had plenty of experience with what my mother did as a career, and life skills experience, but also in my world of interest in being sustainable, I yeah, I've got some tips on that too. So I'm going to bring you forward a wee bit because I feel like you're far away. There we go. I've done all my morning bits, so you've seen my video about all my morning chores. You missed the chooks, I didn't take the camera out, but there we go. So I've got a list because there's so much subjects-wise in laundry that I thought that I would just go through the list. It's not in any order, so you're not going to get sort of chunking of different ideas. You're going to just get it all spread all over the place, which is how my brain works anyway. So the first thing what made me start thinking about that is it's near the end of winter, and we don't wash our clothes, our woolens very often. In fact, we wash our clothes far too much. It takes all of the natural fibres out of them. It wears the fabric out, and it doesn't make them last. So I've got clothes, cheap warehouse clothes that I've had for 20 years, and because I really am conscious of how to wash them, they last. They stay a nice colour. They're good quality. Well, as good a quality fabric as you'll get from somewhere like the warehouse, but they do last. So I have a couple of jerseys here, and I thought, right, I need to start washing my woolens, and I still probably need them for a couple of weeks, but I need to start thinking about washing my woolens, because that's a big job. It's a day job because I do it all at once. And that's when I started thinking, oh, this would make, really interesting. Well, I hope interesting podcast. I hope you are interested. So I got a couple of these things, and I thought the first thing for woolens and the knitting, particularly in the knitting world, because a lot of young families don't knit with wool, and I understand it's expensive. It used to be really cheap when I was young. It is expensive, but it's so good for your children. It's self-regulating. Particularly babies. One of my nieces had her wee baby, and I had to babysit. They were in the other room. It wasn't like they left me alone with them for too long, but I looked after them for about an hour while they were in another room. And he had a lovely woolly jersey on, pure wool, and Mum kept saying, is he too hot? And I was feeling his cheek just to make sure he wasn't too hot, but he was so well regulated in that wool. It breathes. There's so many qualities of wool. And so where was I going with that? Oh, this is the ADD. It's going to happen. Anyway, washing these. So wool is something I think in the 80s and 90s we tended to have a lot of that polyprop, this stuff that I'm wearing today. But I've had this top at least 5 years. So it's recycled plastic, so at least I know that it's getting plastic out of for a while. But wool is the way to go. Washing it, of course, does take some little extra work. This one here is a crew necked jersey, and so when I'm hanging that, that's quite a stable neckline, so it's knit and it's sewn down. It's quite stable. So what I would do with this is I would get a pair of pantyhose. Yes, they can be used for something else, and I would put the legs, put the body of the pantyhose in the neck, and I would tuck the leg one each through each arm, and I would peg the body and then peg the legs out and have it out on the clothesline, stretched out. And that's a great way of washing ones like this that are stable, with a stable neckline. So that's how I would do that one. This one here is, and I didn't deliberately pick two cream ones, it's just what were on top because it's my colour. This is a cardigan that I knit over 30 years ago. I was thinking about it the other day, and I've worn it in my knitting podcasts before. I knit this, yes, definitely 30 years ago anyway. They're having another resurgence cable knit crop top bomber jacket style cardigans, and so I'm in fashion again. Who'd have thought? I was in fashion then, I'm in fashion again. But this has quite an open neck. It's quite a wide neck. It's not as stable as the other neck, and I don't want it to stretch any more than it is. You can see that it's actually starting to get old looking. I'll have to knit another one. But I don't want to hang that like that because I just don't want to stretch that neck out any more than it does. So this one will get pinned, they're both washed by hand, by the way, washed by hand, and it will be laid out on a towel on the floor and laid out into a nice shape that I want it to dry and sort of set into, so that I'm not stretching that neckline out of shape at all. And yeah, and so this will wash beautifully. And I think, again, the reason that I've been wearing this a lot lately, because it's a lovely warm and it's such a beautiful cardigan. This cardigan, I think it's lasted me for so long because I've really taken care of it. I don't wash it all the time, and it's cream, and you'd think that it would get quite grubby, but it's not too bad. Yes, it's needing a wash now. The sleeves are maybe still, and I'm blind, so yeah, people are probably thinking, oh, she should wash that cardigan, but no, it's not too bad. It's pretty good. I do take care of it. So that's kind of woolens, that they do need a little bit of extra work, but they are well worth it, especially for children. They're well worth it. And of course, if it's just an around the home thing, you don't have to be so fussy. You know, you can fold them over the line. They will come across with a line, clothesline line across them, which, you know, I do remember many years ago when I was at college, so many years ago, my mother washed my college jersey and she put it over the clothesline and it had a line across it, and I was mortified. You know what it's like when you're a teenager, everything embarrasses you, that I had this washing line, clothesline. Yes, I remember that distinctly. So that's kind of, there's a lot more to woolens, but every wool is different. You know, some wools, for example, alpaca really can get out of shape and stretch and get quite long. So if you're washing that, you really do need to lay it down and not stretch it, and be very gentle with it. And then there's other robust, you know, New Zealand wools, not just New Zealand wools, but say a New Zealand merino's are reasonably robust, and you can be a little bit more, you can squish into them and really get them clean. Yeah, and anything that's got a mix in it, of course, got some nylon in it, like socks, can be put through the washing machine, and superwash wool can be put in the washing machine. It also goes with fabric as well. So any of your clothes that need washing, I always wash my trousers inside out, mostly because I don't want fading. Fading of fabric is the fastest way to age, so I'm particularly jeans and things, so they're always washed inside out. When I first started living with Mr. Man, he couldn't understand why I had my clothes all inside out, and he used to say, "You're washing your clothes inside out again." I said, "Yes, deliberately." and that's to do with fading. Also, particularly things like jeans that have got pockets and that, you want those thicker parts out. You don't want them tucked in, you want them out so that they dry better. So washing clothes inside out really does make a difference if it's something that you want to keep the good colour to. And other fabrics, I hate ironing. To me, ironing is a 4-letter swear word, probably because I've done that much of it in my life. That I hang, for example, shirts, I will hang out directly from the washing machine. I don't leave them sitting in the washing machine after they've spun through. You get them out straight away, hang them on a hanger, and give them a really good flick and sort of pull them into shape. And then when you bring them in, you bring them straight in and hang them. Don't lay them down or put them with washing or anything like that. And that prevents a lot of having to iron things. There are still things like linen shirts, you know, that really do need an iron, but there's lots of fabrics nowadays that are a lot more forgiving. So being aware of the fabrics, being aware of what the fabric is, does make a difference to how you wash things and how they will last. And another thing is where you peg them. So if you're pegging something from here, a top from up here, you're going to get pokey marks. Or if you put a coat hanger in and it's not inside out, you're going to get coat hanger marks. So being aware of where you peg them. So always peg from the waist. If it's a top, waist, trousers, waist, and that's a really easy way of remembering, so that you don't get those peggy marks. So try and peg things from the waist area. My phone has gone dark, so I can't see what the next thing on the list is. So let's, oh gosh, and now it's done all sorts of weird things. That's typical. Let's take a breath, and then it might behave if I take a breath. Right, so one of the things that I use is, I don't use laundry powder, I use these. They are laundry balls, or and they are mineral little ball, and I get these from, so these, I have 3 of these, and these just sit in my washing machine all the time, and they wash my washing. Now I have a farmer, obviously, and I work in town at office, you know, social work, so I have good clothes, lots of white, and my farmer does not. So, and particularly if farmers are shearing or drenching or anything like that, sheep lanolin, and it can be quite tough to get off. But I've found these amazing. I've used these for years and years, like 15, 20 years maybe. And these are probably the original. They've got, you can hear that, they've got little balls on them. And I buy those from livingsimply.co.nz, and they come in a little pouch, which is fantastic for knitting. Knitting bags once you've finished. And so you get your little pouch, and the balls look like that. They look like little white mineral, they just look like little white balls, like ugly pearls really. But they are soft, they're rock hard. So what they do is they, something to do with the oxygen and the chemicals, the mineral in them, and it lifts the dirt. And I swear by them. I would change my balls, which are due to be changed now, every 18 months. So my laundry costs me next to nothing to do. These, I can't remember how much they were. It was that long ago since I brought them. And I'm going to say somewhere around $70, but I'm not. Honestly, I can't remember because it's that long ago. So they're due for a renewal now, and that will last me another 3 or 4 years before I buy another lot. Don't have to buy laundry powder at all. They are, I can't speak more highly of them, and you just don't have to think about it. They're in the washing machine and they just stay there. You're supposed to bring them out, which we do, and just sit them on the bench to dry. But I tend to forget they're up there, and then I do the washing and I haven't got the laundry balls in there. They also make and this came in the pack, they make a really good stain remover, which is a natural stain remover. So that's what I use for that. So that's what I use. But I mean, there's lots of other choices, of course. Now the Surf and Drive and all of those laundry powders, they are full of lots of fillers. The thing is, we want things to, because they don't my ones don't make soap, don't bubble, and they don't leave scent. They are scentless, which I quite like, but a lot of people don't like that. I've got family members that don't like that, so they like to have a smell. And of course, when we put laundry powder in, we expect to see bubbles. We think that means things are cleaning. We like to smell it. We like it to pour out nice and easily. We like it to pour out in a flow and not stay in a clump and have to be rammed to get out. And those are why they put all sorts of things in them to stop those things happening, which you don't need. You don't need all of that stuff in there. I did make my own laundry liquid for quite some time. I don't bother anymore. I just use these all the time really, but at one stage I was making laundry liquid. If you want to make your own, it is equal parts grated soap. Now I use Sunlight soap in New Zealand. I don't know over in other countries what you could use, but it's just a nice natural solid good working soap. And so equal parts soap and a blank washing soda. So you can get that from somewhere like Bin Inn, and you buy a bag and it'll last you a long time. Nice. Equal parts water and soap. And I put a tablespoon of washing soda in it. Washing soda softens the water. You can put borax in, which is really good for sort of heavier stuff that needs washing. And you can make that up and you just leave that sitting. I can do it one day and show you on a video. It's probably easier than me trying to talk it through now. It's actually better if I'm doing it. But so equal parts grated soap and equal parts water, and you melt the soap in boiling water and then add cold water. I like to add the washing soda and the borax if it's for hard wearing stuff. And that is cheap as chips. Of course, it doesn't bubble like laundry powder. It cleans very well, and it can get a bit gluey looking. Those are the things you have to put up with if you want to use a natural product. Not put up with, but accept that that's what happens when you're using a natural product that doesn't have all of those things in it that make it flow nicely and make it smell nicely and all of those things. So yeah, that is laundry soap. Now, what have we got else? Have we got here? rotating your washing. Mum was a great one for rotating her washing. We used to, every school holidays, wash all of the blankets up at the school that she worked at. It was a school laundry. And so we would hang the duvet covers and the woolen blankets. Massive job. We had 3 schools. It was a trinity. And we would wash all of the blankets and all of the duvet covers every school holidays. Massive job. And so Mum would hang, and so would my sister and I, because that was our job as well, hang the washing, hang the sheet, hang the woolen blankets up, and you put pegs sort of every 12 inches, because if you put them too far away you'd have big scoops and it would pull heavy, so you'd want them reasonably close together. And then halfway through the day we had to go out and rotate them, so we would pick up the bottom of the blanket and we would take the peg out and peg the bottom of the blanket up, so that what was pegged up now is the bottom. And I still rotate my washing on days when things are not, if there's not enough breeze and I know it's not going to dry, particularly towels. I hang my towels up, and if I see they're not moving much, or that they're just going to take a while to dry, and sometimes, you know, the tops where you put the pegs they can stay damp, as I rotate them. I always used to rotate my nappies when I had my babies, and I want to talk about mental health and laundry shortly, and that's, you know, relevant to that. So I always rotated my nappies. Jeans are another good one that you can rotate. So I always, as I said, you would hang most things from the waist, so shirts from around the waist and trousers from the waistband. But if you've got heavy trousers and you can rotate those halfway through, the inside leg seam, follow that down until the cuff, and that's the corner that you can peg up that doesn't show. Don't use the outside seams, because that will stick out when you wear them and not look great at all. So that's your baby wash. So I want to talk about mental health and laundry. And as I said earlier, I did feel overwhelmed. I came home yesterday and there was a pile of washing, and I thought, no, okay, I'm not going to get overwhelmed by this. Because there are times when I really need washing or laundry, something like washing and laundry, to keep me grounded and to help me stay calm. I've suffered with anxiety all my life. I know that's no secret. I've said that everywhere. Anxiety is something that I've had all my life, and some days it's really big, some days it just sits really quietly, and I've learned to manage it most of the time. And so some of the things that I've learned about how to manage it, one of the things is, if I've got things that ground me, like doing some dishes by hand, doing some laundry, you know, stripping the beds, any of that sort of grounding, just basic home stuff, that helps incredibly bring me back down. And if I can do my breathing exercises while I'm doing it, like for example when I'm folding the washing or when I'm hanging the washing, that can really, really help. One of the things that my colleague and I alluded to it a little bit before, was when we start a parenting course or a workshop, we often ask, how do you hang your washing? And people look at us like, oh, that's a weird question. But when they start talking about it, it's fascinating. So some people have to have the same coloured pegs. Some people like to put everything in categories, like your knickers and your jeans and your t-shirts, all in separate categories. Some people just really bang, bang, bish, bang, want to get it out, don't care, and hope like heck. Some people are really anal about how they bring it in and fold it up. And also this can change when things are happening for you. So an interesting thing about the pegs is sometimes when we are feeling really anxious, we need things that we can control. We need some things in our life that are controllable, or that we don't have to think about, that are structured and routine and safe and secure. And having the same pegs and the same coloured pegs often is one of those things. I mean, I certainly I have to use the same type of peg. I hate it if someone buys a new lot of pegs and they're totally different to the pegs I've got. Some of that is just practicality, especially being blind, because when you pick up a handful of pegs and you've got them in your hand, you can feel that whether they're upside down or not, because you know the peg, and you can be a lot faster by feel of where they're sitting in your hand. If you've got several different kinds of pegs, it gets all messed up and knotty in your hand, and you don't know whether you've got one of these ones or a push-in one, or if it's upside down, and you're just constantly looking at what sort of peg you've got. So for me, having the same type of pegs is really important, practicality wise, but also it just takes away that stress. It is one of those things that I know I can do, grab a handful and just hang my washing in a rhythmic way. Now the rhythmic way is also something to do with mental health as well. So in order to increase serotonin, which is one of our happy neurotransmitters or our happy drugs in our body, we need to do something that we enjoy that is repetitive. Now, I'm not saying that a lot of people don't enjoy hanging laundry, but I do love watching that laundry hang up. You know, there's something about hanging laundry, especially when I had babies and I had all of my whites out, like nappies and white. I loved just everything white with my babies, and it was just really loved that. And so that doing something that is repetitive that you enjoy is a natural way of increasing serotonin. Now, to get a double whammy bonus, mental health bonus, dopamine is the other happy neurotransmitter. So they work really well together. Dopamine is a reward one. So in order to get a dopamine hit, so if you want a double whammy of the two, do something that is repetitive that you enjoy, that has a reward at the end. So hanging washing, pegging it out, and then you look back and you see this line of your lovely washing, and there's your dopamine hit, and that's a great way of stimulating the happy neurons in your body, in your brain. So there is something to be said about those routine jobs that are just and then you can look back and say, yeah, I've hung all that washing out, or oh, look at all my whites, or oh, that was good getting those woolens out. So really good for your mental well-being. And it's these simple little things that make a huge difference to how we manage our day. A simple day like getting up, being as routine as possible with things like, when you have your shower, when you brush your teeth, when you brush your hair, hanging your washing out. Those very simple jobs bring you back to an even keel and help boost some serotonin and dopamine so that you can manage the day. Because often in your day there are things that we just can't control in our world. And so if we can control the things that we can control to the best of our ability, then we can manage the things that we can't control. I hope that makes sense. So that is a key to one tip to, if you suffer with anxiety or feeling shaky on it one day, get out, hang your washing out, and do that repetitive, and look back over your washing and think, yeah, I've done a good job here. Don't just hang the washing out, go turn around and walk back inside. Look back and say, yeah. And watching your washing blow away around in the wind, sort of drying, can be another one of those dopamine hits. I know it sounds trite, and I certainly don't mean it to be trite, but something as simple as that really truly can help give you some feel good neurotransmitters in your brain. So there's your mental health tip for today. Donna's Mental Health 101. So one of the other things that is when you've got kids, that can be a massive job with laundry. Get the kids involved. If you've got little kids like toddlers, get them counting the pegs, or put some pegs down and say, oh, can you match all the red ones or all the yellow ones while mum's hanging the laundry? Or can you help me find a sock? Because we all know about, missing socks that disappear into the never world. And here's a good tip for you that my daughter does. I'm quite impressed actually. My daughter has a big family. She's got 5 kids, a step family, blended family, and we know that socks disappear, you know, everybody out there does. So for some reason, they're hiding with the biros. So there's biros and socks somewhere out in our universe that are hiding there laughing at us because we've done it again. We've fooled them. We've only left them with one sock and no biros. She's got a bin in her lounge, just in one of her shelves, and all of the socks go in there. And if the kids can find a pair, good on them. But most of them don't care. And you know what? As knitters, we watch a lot of knitting programs around socks, and it's actually fashionable at the moment to knit odd socks, mismatched socks. So the kids are actually fashionable. And if you buy socks that are the same colour. You know, have all black ones, which is what I always used to do. I always had all black socks. So if I lost one, it didn't matter because I always had a pair. So, you know, that can really help from stopping this from going mad. I really liked that concept with the kids. And my grandson was looking for socks and he put two odd ones on. And I said, but they're odd. And he said, it doesn't matter. And I thought, good on you. We should all have much more of an attitude like that. Another tip for you. So yeah, so if you've got little ones, get them counting the pegs or putting the colours together. Oh, well done, you've put all the blue ones together. Now how many red ones have we got? And you know, just keep them amused while you're doing the washing. If you've got older kids, well, obviously they can try and help. You know, try and make it a little bit fun for them, but you can get out there and if they can reach the clothesline, they can try pegging them. One of the important things is to not go back and say, oh, you've done that wrong, let's you know, and change it, because they really are trying hard. Go back later. If it's really important and they've pinned up your shirt from here and you don't want two big peg marks, go back later. They don't need to know you've done that. They just will get that buzz of seeing the job that they've done, and they'll start learning about these natural jobs that you know, that have to happen. I mean, it's a reality. If you've got to hang washing out, why not try and gain something from it? And if it is sort of settling your brain down a wee bit and helping the kids count pegs, then, you know, let it happen. The next one I want to talk about was, so Zuckerberg is the guy that owns Facebook. I own Facebook. And if you Googled his name and came up with it, you will find that he has almost exactly the same t-shirt on and everything. It's a greyish t-shirt, plain t-shirt on in everything. That's the 90% of the time that's what he wears. And also Steve Jobs, who he was another one that wore exactly the same thing all the time. And this was an interesting thing that psychologists looked at, and it's to do with they don't need any more choices in their life. They don't want to get up in the morning and think, what am I going to wear? They just know they're going to pick up that grey t-shirt. They know that it works for them, it's comfortable, it does what it needs to do for them for the day, and they just wear the same one. So if you can do that, that is really good for the mental health. Having as little choice as possible. I tend to think about what I'm going to wear before I get up. So once I wake up in the morning, I have a cup of tea, and I tend to read the paper and perhaps watch a podcast if I've woken up early enough. And then I tend to think, okay, what am I going to wear today? What's the weather going to do? What's my day going to be? Am I, you know, out at home in my gears that are just this, you know, my old trackies, or am I going to need something for work? So I think about it beforehand. I try not to give myself too much choice. So I think that's a really good strategy that Zuckerberg and Job had, and there are other people that do that as well, other famous people, and you know, you may well notice that now that you've seen that, but certainly I know Zuckerberg and Job were the two that stood out as never wearing anything different. And you know, you can kind of see the benefits of that. If you find something, my mother always said, if you find something you like, buy 3, 1 to wear, 1's in the wash, and 1 to spare. And I have sort of stuck to that to a degree. If I find something that is really comfortable, I'll buy 2 or 3. I've got 2 of these. This is a great throw on at home. easy wash, dries in about 10 minutes, comfortable, it's the right length. Yeah, so if you find something that's really comfortable and you know works, try and get a few of them. Three at least. One wear, one wash, one spare. One in the wash, one to wear, and one to spare. Yeah, that's how she used to say it. And I always liked that theory. So that brings me to my next discussion is op shops. Now, op shops are a wonderful thing, but they can encourage overbuying, because you walk around it and you go, oh, that's cheap, I'll have that, and oh, that's cheap, I'll have that, and oh, that's cheap, I'll have that, and then you've got this armful of stuff that you're going up paying for, and you think, gosh, I only paid $20 for 10 items, that's awesome. And then you get home and you never wear any of them, and they sit in your drawers, and then you go to put things in your drawers and you cram stuff in because it's all pounding out. So op shops are fantastic, and I mean, I love op shopping. Have op shopped. I take workshops called op shop chic, so looking chic with buying op shop clothes. But I am very conscious that they can create overbuying, and so one of the tips I have is, if you hold something up and say it's $2 and you really like it and you think, oh, that's nice, that's cheap, and you're just about to go, that's cheap, and throw it over your arm to buy, have a look at it and add another couple of zeros in your mind to that $2 and think, now would I pay $20 for that? And if you would, then you can buy it. But if you think, oh, actually no, I wouldn't pay 20 for that, put it back, because those are the ones you're not going to end up wearing. There are a lot more, I mean, as I say, I take a whole workshop on it, so there's a lot more to it, ways that can be helpful, like knowing your body size and your body shape and knowing the colours that work for you. And there's lots and lots and lots of things that can help to prevent overbuying. And that also prevents overwashing. So if you've got that many clothes and you know you can change 2 or 3 times a day, imagine the laundry. And you don't mind if you get it dirty, because you think, oh, I've just got to get something else, and then you've got this mountain in the laundry. And I have certainly seen clients and people that I know who, particularly if they're depressed or feeling really low, the laundry pile gets to a stage where it actually gets so big that it becomes overwhelming, a little bit like I was feeling yesterday. But then it starts to become that overwhelming that they don't manage it at all. And then that's the self-fulfilling thing, when you start, every time you walk past the laundry, you've got this massive pile of washing, and that starts weighing down in your head, and starts, you know, you certainly know serotonin and dopamine there. It's all cortisol, which is one of our stress hormones, and cortisol, and too much can be like a weed killer in our body. So, you know, that going past your laundry and filling your body with cortisol is not good for your body or your mind. What have we got here? I wrote so many notes. Stains. Oh, stains. Yes, having stains on things. And, you know, again, this is the world of just replace it, just buy another one, or I've got that many because I've been op shopping. That doesn't matter. It's just a stain. I'll get rid of it. But if you really take care of your clothes, and as I say, if you know they fit, if you know they work well for you, and if you really like them, try and take care of them. And so stains can be managed. One of the things that my mother always had in the laundry, not in our laundry at home, but also in the laundry, I always call it the laundry, that was the working where she worked, is a bottle of oil of eucalyptus and a nail brush. Now, oil of eucalyptus, pure oil of eucalyptus, not just one that's a smell or an essence. Pure oil of eucalyptus is great at removing particularly other oil stains. So if you put that on your stain and rub it with a nail brush and just leave it to sit before you wash it, it will lift a lot of stains. So that was something that Mum used constantly in the laundry, particularly with the school, because kids with biros and food, you know, they just had lots of stains and grass stains and all those sorts of things. So she used oil of eucalyptus a lot. she just had a little bottle, so you only need a drip, and the nail brush sort of scrubs it in. So that was, you know, a really good, useful thing for me to know over the years. These laundry balls that I use in this stain are excellent. I have very little problem with stains. Another thing that I certainly learned from my mother there as well, which I've maintained, is if you have a stain, don't wash it off and let it dry, because that sets the stain. So if you sponge it and you've left it there and you think you've got it, and then it dries, that will set that stain, and it makes it really hard to actually get rid of it when you want to treat it later. So if it's a stain that needs treating, it's actually better to accept that you've got that stain there, put a cardigan on or something, and treat it later. So because the washing and the drying will set that stain. So if you've got a stain and you wash it, and then you realise you've got a stain on it, it's going to be a lot harder to get rid of. So when you know you've got a stain, I just get this and I wash it, put it onto the stain. Be interesting to know what's in it, and I can't read it. It's probably got oil of eucalyptus in it. So I brush that on the stain, and I just leave it unwashed and sitting until I'm ready to wash it. The best stain remover on the planet is sun and fresh air. So if you've got a stain in something and you get your whatever it is out in the sun washing, you know, to dry, get the sun on it, put anything that's got a stain on it, put it in the sunniest part of your clothesline, and sun and fresh air are the best stain removers on the planet, and they're free. So that's, you know, one of the best ones you can use. Now, where are we up to? Done the knitting one, haven't I? Obviously the one that we should all know, and I think probably most of us do, is to separate our whites and colours and heavy wash. So work clothes, heavy clothes, work clothes, and your whites. Don't wash your whites with work clothes, they're going to go grey. I have never had a problem with my whites with those balls, those laundry balls. However, I never wash them with my coloured stuff. So if you want your whites to stay white, make sure you wash them separately and only with other whites. I think that's one that a lot of people tend to know. Well, I hope they do, but have weekend clothes, so keep your good clothes for good and your weekend clothes for weekend. Don't wear your weekend clothes for cleaning the chook house out. Wear your weekend clothes for cleaning the chook house out. Because you're not going to worry about stains and things as much. And what else have we got? Those are fairly op shop. We've talked about how to clean your iron. So sometimes if you do a lot of ironing, your iron bottom, the heated part of your iron can get quite dirty. A lot of modern day ones are different now, they're self-cleaning. But the other thing that my mother always had in the laundry, and I've used for many years, although I don't do a lot of ironing now, to be honest, is a mixture, even a mixture of baking soda and water, and you make a paste almost to the consistency of toothpaste. So baking soda and water, and you spread that on your iron when it's warm, not hot, when it's warm, and you just let it sit there. And then she had a Goldilocks stilo, I'm not sure what you would call them in other countries, but a aluminium pot cleaning pad. And so then she would get the iron and she would put some water on the Goldilocks, and she would wash the paste off her iron with the Goldilocks, and that cleans your iron bottom beautifully, all shiny and new again, ready to wash, to iron the next 1,000 boys' school shirts that we used to iron and girls' school shirts. So that a lot of, as I say, a lot of modern irons don't need that now, but if you've still got a good old solid iron that has a solid bottom and it gets sticky or dirty, baking soda and water into a paste, put it on and wash it off with Goldilocks, and that is primo. That's also a great one for copper bottom pots is equal parts baking soda, vinegar and salt, and they do exactly the same thing. Scrub it on, make a paste, scrub it on, and wash it off with a poly pad, Goldilocks, and that is fantastic for shining your copper bottom pots. Just another tip there. So that was another one from laundry days as well. We've spent so much time in the laundry that my kids and my sister's kids remember being toddlers and sitting in, they had great big huge wicker laundry baskets. That's, you know, in those days we had wicker, and the kids we used to bring our babies and kids, and they would sit in the wicker laundry baskets while we helped mum with the washing, you know, and play with the pegs and things in the baskets, keep them contained. And they've all got memories of sitting in these baskets at Nana's laundry. Well, it wasn't Nana's laundry, but they called it Nana's laundry. So yeah, I think I've pretty much gone through my list. Except I keep pushing things. I'm hoping that those are really useful to you. You know, it's amazing how much I can talk about laundry. As I say, it's one of those things that I'll put that away because pretty sure I have been through my list. That can be a tedious chore, can be overwhelming at times, and one of those burdens that you feel you just have to do. But if you don't wash your stuff as much, we wash our clothes. I mean, a dress does not need to be washed once. If you wear it once, hang it up, put it in some daylight for a little while or some fresh air and let it air, put it in the wardrobe and wear it again. You don't have to wash a dress. Yes, your underwear, yes, anything that is sort of gets, you know, grubby or anything like that. But a skirt or a dress, they just don't need washing every time, you know, and it wears out the material. So, and also, this is one of the reasons I don't particularly like this stuff. It puts fibres, plastic fibres, into our water, and they have actually found not polystyrene, what's it called? The stuff that those t-shirts, sweatshirts are made of, that all the kids wear. Can't remember what it's called now, but it's made out of plastic. They have found those fibres in fish stomachs. So it gets in the wash, it goes into the sea, and it floats in the ocean, and it can be eaten by fish. I mean, it's not good. So as minimal as possible. As minimal as possible. Doesn't mean don't do it. Just means just don't do it all the time. Try and have some wool, and, you know, and mix it up. Anyway, that's laundry. I can't believe I spoke that long about laundry. You can help your mental health, you can help your hygiene, you can help your home, you can help your finances, all around laundry. And family, my kids, as I say, my kids have got those memories in the laundry. Yes, we were working, yes, we were helping my mum work, but we were talking and we were spending time together and communicating while we were doing that. Yeah, anyway, have a fantastic day. I look forward to catching up with you next time. Bye for now.